This is an air umbrella I built, and as you can see, it's pretty successfully failing to do its job, which is unfortunate.
I believe the technical term for what that is an abject failure. I don't think that could have gone any worse. I guess it could have caught fire, but in terms of functionality, that was pretty poor. You're probably wondering why I didn't use a more powerful motor. And the answer to that is simple. 140 watts is pretty much the maximum power I can draw from a battery I can fit into the handle of an umbrella. So we need some other solution. We need something that stores more energy in the same space. Gas. Gas stores around 14 kilowatt hours per kilogram, which is a hell of a lot more than the around 0.3 kilowatt hours that lithium batteries store. So it sounds to me like what we need is gas. And in order for gas, what we need is a jet engine. You probably knew that because I had a intro and a title and a thumbnail. But I didn't. Anyway, let's check that out. The function of a jet engine is pretty simple. If we look at this two-dimensional cross-section, basically what happens is air comes in the front of the engine over here. And that air is then compressed through a compressor stage, which is basically a load of fans that allow the air to be squished so it's going really fast and at really high pressure. We then put that into a combustion chamber. Now the combustion chamber is much bigger than the intake where the fans go, which means the air becomes higher pressure and slows down, according to Bernoulli's principle. In that, we have a load of stuff, most notably diffusers and the fuel injectors. And that allows us to maintain a flame in here. And that flame expands the gases and pushes them out the back at really high pressure. And at the back, we have a turbine. And that turbine spins round and gets driven by the gas that's being expanded in the combustion chamber, and in turn drives a shaft which spins the compressor. And so the process repeats. Some of the gas, however, gets past that turbine, and that's our thrust. Alrighty, let's get designing and simulating and designing and this is going to be a long process. I'm going to do it tomorrow. It's like midnight. It's the next day, so let's get into it. I've just realised I only had a 30-minute time lapse on. Anyway, I've done the design. I may be exhausted, but the design is here. Now, there are a number of different ways I could get this manufactured. But something I've always wanted to check out is 3D printing metal. So that's what I'm going to try and do for this. Luckily, PCBWay, who sponsored this video, have a 3D metal printing service. PCBWay has been an industry leader for a long time, but right now they're celebrating their 11th birthday, and that means they're giving away a lot of good deals.
On the 11th birthday section of their website, you'll see loads of discounts on all of their services, as well as a lucky draw, which when I entered, I won some pretty cool prizes, which I might use in some upcoming projects. I guess all we gotta do now is wait a week or so until this arrives. This seems to be a high quality part, which is good, but it's also missing most of the internal components. That's not because PCBWay forgot to install them, that's because I've got to build it. So let's build it with a montage. Woo! The only issue now is I somehow have to be able to start this, because jet engines don't just start, you've got to spin them really fast, which is going to be hard. This might not be the best idea I've ever had, but we could use a power drill, and hopefully we can get it started. Let's give it a try. Obviously, if anything went wrong, it would be quite dangerous, which is why I've used the well-respected technique of she'll be right. As you can see here, I've used a G-clamp. Let's actually test this though, because that's what you want to see, right? We do not have anything like enough speed. That's good. I hate it when my crappy bodge jobs don't work out. Luckily, I've come up with a plan. Remember our blower from earlier? That had a really decent motor in it. Well, I say decent, it was probably cheap and Chinese, but it span really fast. If I can hook that up to the shaft, well, then we're in business. The only issue is that means I'm going to have to build a whole system to hold that in place. Which means I guess I'm going to build a working prototype of this with a pole. Let's get working. I've waited till it's dark, so hopefully we get to see flames coming out the back, and ideally everything's going to go and it's going to look really cool. And then it's going to work as an umbrella, obviously. So let's test it out without further ado. Okay, who's ready for me to engage the throttle? In 3, 2, 1. Shit, boys. The batteries are dead, and that's really annoying because I don't have a spare battery. So I'm just going to hook it up to a car battery. Which went well. And my ESC's on fire. Wonderful. How has that happened? So why is it like so on fire? Hold on. Oh, the power's still going through it. This wasn't an isolated incident, and it took me many iterations to get this fully working, but finally. Unfortunately, like Icarus, I wanted to push everything too far, and I gave it too much gas, and internally, it just couldn't handle it. This test was going really well, and I thought it was going to work, and it almost did. But then I gave it more gas because I wanted to have more thrust for when I tested it to make sure it worked as an umbrella. And well, the compressor blades hit the edge. I guess I over-revved it. And now it's missing 2 blades. 3 blades? 3 blades because it smashed into the edge. This is actually the first time I've failed to do a project. And I think it's not going to be the last. But it is a bit disappointing that I didn't get this finished. If you would like to see me try this again, well, 1,000 likes on this video. And I'll come back and attempt to put myself through this again. Otherwise, please subscribe and like the video, and I will see you guys next week.